complete your profile, put your summary down, put your experience down, fill in the gaps, and make sure these 3 lines say something. Make it interesting. Because if they're not interesting, people will not say, show more. And you won't get to actually tell them your story or market to them. So fill in the gaps. Tell the story in the first person, not the third person. It's like a networking. Don't talk about yourself in the third person at networking. So why would you do it on LinkedIn? Put in video, because you can show videos on LinkedIn. You don't need to actually go to YouTube to visit. You can use the YouTube app, sorry, the LinkedIn app. You can use the laptop. And then put the videos and put links in to make it come to life. Don't just put the website in there. And you also make sure your company page talks about your actual LinkedIn and your company and what your company does and what you do at your company. And then put links into your YouTube, put links into your website, and even put links into the point drive, which is part of social selling. So you're using collateral, you're using creative to really bring your profile to life. LinkedIn's a very visual profile. So what else do you do? Your personal profile, your experience is not just your job. So I lecture at NUS, for example, so I put that in there. I'm also a contributor to the Business Times. I was in on Monday, for example, talk about why I employ more women, for example, and always have done at Black Marketing than anybody else, and why isn't the rest of Singapore also employing more women? I also do volunteer experience SMU, for example, talking about how people and students should be using LinkedIn to protect and invest in their profile, their future. Think about recommendations and skills and awards. Fill in all the gaps of LinkedIn. Because this is part of LinkedIn's gamification. Put your recommendations on there. Put your skills on there. And also make sure you get endorsed for skills by people who know more about it. So I get endorsed for social selling by people who work at LinkedIn. And David Tang at Microsoft, who's #1 in Microsoft. It means more. So really make sure you get endorsed by the right kind of people. Put your awards up there. Put organizations, put your publications up there too. Really fill in the gaps on LinkedIn. Tell people where you are. LinkedIn's very livable, very kind of dynamic. So when I was in Zurich and Cologne before Christmas, for example, I made sure my headline changed to saying it was Zurich and Cologne. So was the background picture. Same we went to Tokyo. So change the background picture. Change it all the time because people are coming to your profile. They want something new that becomes like wallpaper. So make sure you change it. I love the way Landy does this, for example, next stop Greece. Or next stop New Zealand. She's using it dynamically, getting people's attention, going, okay, she's in New Zealand, let's catch up. She's in Hong Kong, she's in wherever she is, let's catch up. One of the best people to do this is Ron Kaufman, who basically travels 200 days of the year. So he's actually letting people know both up here and here. He's in Sacramento and then San Diego. So use it dynamically. Use it to market yourself so people know where you're going to be so they can actually meet you and do business with you. Even if you go abroad, like when I get to see Guns N' Roses, for example, in Hong Kong, I put on my LinkedIn. I met people there who were about business. Became a business catalyst because they were also going to see Guns N' Roses in Hong Kong too. So don't do things like this. In your summary section, write summary. Don't do that. Actually put in a summary section. Or this, a lifelong passion for problem solving. It doesn't say anything about your personal brand or about you. And that's what LinkedIn summary section is about. It's about you. Don't do this like business leader. That's not a great thing to do because that describes everyone in this room. It's not differentiate you. It's not about your personal brand, which is what the summary section should be about. I love this from the Love Doctor because the Love is apparently a business on LinkedIn too. And the Love Doctor's filled out all his things he does on his LinkedIn profile. So he deals with affair, other person. How do you have an affair by yourself? I'm not quite sure. So he goes on to get your lover back. And then he sorts all your problems out. So divorce problem. And then he expanded from love into different areas and started solving out your business problem and your study problem. But my favorite service is a genuine profile on LinkedIn. My favorite service, very niche service this Love Doctor does. Be free from enemy / second wife. It's that whole second wife enemy business. The first wife business was all sold out. Brilliant. And don't do this when you recommend somebody. And then Peter here is out of work. So LinkedIn tell me Peter is celebrating a work anniversary at 4 years out of work. And not even that, LinkedIn actually can say congratulations to him for being 4 years out of work. That's why he doesn't look very amused. And don't do this. Don't be endorsed for PowerPoint, Excel, and telling the time. Think about what your skills you want to be endorsed for. You are in charge of it. You can't blame LinkedIn. You're in charge. So don't be endorsed for things like awesomeness and general awesomeness. Only if you're American can you be endorsed for those two things. We're British people can't be endorsed for awesome things. Now SEO is really important on LinkedIn. Your weekly search appearances, which you can all see, Under your summary section, it actually tells you how many times you are found using search, because LinkedIn is a search just like Google is. So it won't surprise you to know that I have the highest in the world, at over 109,000 weekly search appearances, because we use it for a living. This is what we do. We hack the thing so we basically get found all the time. And the little things like I have hundreds of positions, for example, because I realized that when you put into LinkedIn, for example, in Sydney or Melbourne or London, LinkedIn Masterclass, if you didn't actually put where you worked in that particular city, you didn't get found. So I put in all my different cities that we basically work with, like Zurich and Shanghai and London and Munich and Berlin, San Francisco and New York, and we get found in those cities and people are searching there. So you have to think about it like Google, because it's the same kind of way, just it's organic. If you put in things like personal branding into LinkedIn, 65,000 results, then basically I come top because I'm using personal branding at the top, the headline, and the experience. So you have to think about what your keywords are, how you want to be found, and how you want to use LinkedIn. Even things like LinkedIn. If you put LinkedIn into LinkedIn, 1.7 million people come up. I come up after LinkedIn. So only LinkedIn actually beats me on LinkedIn. So I prove it works if you use LinkedIn enough times in your basically profile. So you can actually gamify the system and actually make it work for you. But you have to own a certain figure, own a certain number, own a certain keyword. So if you do the same thing with the company page, for example, LinkedIn, the company page, black marketing comes up in the second page after LinkedIn, LinkedIn China, and so forth. So you can make your company come up high. You can make yourself come up high too using the right kind of keywords.